As you know, we have a spectacular guest this morning. We have Michelle Lee, who's a friend of mine, who's an amazing, amazing woman. I mean, Michelle is a presence. It's just what you say. Michelle, you walk in a room and you just know she's there. She's inimitable. She's an incredible, credible. She's the Asian version of the unsinkable Molly Brown.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's what I say. So, Michelle, we had a chance, as you know, before we ever host this, I go and warn you about what's involved. I mean, I pre-interview you. And I want to remind you, please turn off your cell phones so we don't have any interruptions during our conversation. But you were born and raised in Taiwan.
Yep.
And we talked about the fact how your family came to be in Taiwan. And it's really fascinating because your parents actually had to leave China for Taiwan because they were under threat. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about that story.
The Chinese history was a trouble one for the last 100 years. And 1949, both my parents were actually in China. And 1949, the communists took over China, and my parents decided that my father was in the military and it was under threats. And then he was a governor of our province. So I'm kind of come from a good family now that I'm thinking about it. And he was under threat, so he and my mother fled China in 1949, went to Taiwan, followed Chiang Kai-shek during that time. And my father really thought he was going home in a few months, in a few years. So when we were growing up, my father never wanted any real estate because we're going home. So never under his wildest imagination, he never went home. Since 1949, he died in Taiwan.
In Taiwan.
It's a strange time in our life. Yeah.
So he never had that sense of permanency. But we talked about your mother loved being in Taiwan.
My mother, when she left Shandong province, where we came from, is a peninsula. It's the northern part of China. That part of Chinese are strong, big, tall. We ride horses. You know, we're strong people. But my mother is a small woman, and she, when she came to Taiwan, she was just secretly being so happy because she didn't like the cold weather, the snowy days, and she always, you know, back in the days you didn't have any heater, so they slept on the bed that with fire going underneath to warm up the bed. When she went to Taiwan, she said, I am a happy woman here because it's tropical, it's hot, it's humid. She said, I found my love here. I really don't need to go home. So, but she couldn't tell my father.
Right.
So they were living this lie that my mom says, so we can go home anytime.
Yeah.
But,
but when you pack, I won't be going. Little do you know. So your father was really an instrumental part of your life. How many children were in your family?
We have 5 in our family, and guess what
You're the first girl.
No, I'm the last one of 5.
The last one of 5, which is really interesting because we normally do a little bit of a shout out and ask how many women who are CEOs in our audience were firstborn, and it's usually the firstborn. But you're the lastborn, you're the baby.
Lastborn. Nobody listens to me at my house.
Yeah. But somehow you translated that to other people to listen to you.
Every one of them.
Yeah. So how many were boys and how many were girls?
My family has 3 boys and 2 girls, and my father just loved girls. My father thought, very different than usual Chinese man. Chinese men usually, I shouldn't stereotypical, you know, what do you call that?
Stereotypical or stereotype.
Yeah. But he's very loving to girls. He believed boys should be taught, you know, in a different way. So, love girls, and we have 2 boys in a row. And my father was really depressed. Like, where's my girl? So my father got a girl, my sister, and then my father thought his life was complete. I am a happy man. I got my girl. But then my mother said, no, we should have more girls. So they tried one more time. It was a boy. My father said, that's it, no more. So, but lo and behold, my mother begged and begged and begged. Thank God she did. So there comes me.
And we say thank God she did too. We all feel that way. We feel that exact same way. So at some point, because you were raised in Taiwan, you know, a lot of times, you know, a lot of women that we get to have the opportunity to visit, you know, their family immigrated prior, but you were the one that ended up coming here to the U.S. What was your aspiration when you were growing up? What did you think you wanted to do or be?
My father was very instrumental just to say that you can do whatever a boy can do and better. And so, but I went to library school back in Taiwan. I finished my college degree in Taiwan. I went to the school that all the girls are pretty.
Oh.
It's called, it's a private Catholic school. All the girls there were just really pretty. Some part of that. Yeah. And then I finished the college there. So I finished my entire primary and college in Taiwan. And I wanted to come to the States because my sister and my brother had came here before. So I always knew I want to come here to get a graduate degree. A PhD in library science was what I wanted. My father said, that would be good for you.
You know, you really don't strike me as the librarian type. I mean, that was kind of when you said that your background was, and how fascinating and intriguing this field is. Okay.
I'm a darn good librarian.
I have no doubt that you're not darn good at everything you do, but you know, you kind of think about people that you know along the way, and you know, if I put you in a category, librarian would not have been one that popped up for me. But a lot of women I know, I don't think librarian, not Success in the City or librarian, but I think it's fascinating. What brought you to that field? Why did you want to be a librarian?
I really believe knowledge is power. Librarian is a skill set that I always wanted to have. Being able to do the research, to help other people to accomplish the difficult research part was why I really enjoyed doing that. To gather all the data and doing database searches, do the research on the paper and periodical, that's something that I thrive. And I actually really enjoyed it.
That's just fascinating to me. So you're going to college and you graduate college. Now, I know that you're married to your husband, who you also met while you were in school in China.
In Taiwan.
In Taiwan.
Yes.
In Taiwan.
We met first year in college, and really didn't think he was the one. Wasn't quite sure. So I was multiple dating, making sure that putting people through a process to make sure that
she cataloged them.
Sure.
They were in the periodical sections.
What kind?
Yeah.
And then, but my husband just continued to be there, like can't weed out. You know, just continue to be there. And then when we, once we came to the third year in college, so I was pretty clear where I'm going. I said, well, I'm going to the States. My husband, by the way, went to the top Taiwan school called National Taiwan University. He was in electrical engineering. So 99% of the class go to the States. They go to MIT, they go to Stanford to get a PhD. Well, he said, I'm not going. So I'm going to the States. Dan's not going. I said, you know, this is pretty clear cut. We're going separate ways, so we probably should part way. He said, no, I don't want to part way. I really enjoy spending time with you. I don't want to part ways. So through the years, and we continued to work together, we continued to date, and he changed his mind. He followed me to the States, and then, so I think that's it. That's the man.